It's a bit early for that, isn't it? Let's talk to Andrew Montford, Director of Net Zero Watch, because we've had lots and lots of conversations this week about Ed Miliband and how useless he's become and how idiotic his whole net zero kind of crusade has become. I mean, even people like Dale Vince say that carbon capture is a bad idea. But the latest story to hit the net zero fanatics is BP. They're going to cut thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs. Why? Because of net zero pressure. BP decided, despite the fact that they're a massive oil and gas company, that they're going to stop drilling for oil and gas. Why? Because they want to become greener. They want to become a more palatable company, and they want everybody to be thinking nice things about them. So basically, they're going to lose 4,700 jobs across their 90,000 strong global workforce. They're going to end work with 3,000 contractors, and they're trying to seek savings of over £1.6 billion across the business. It's as if the lunatics have taken over the asylum. Andrew, very good morning to you.
Morning, Mike.
I mean, what sort of an idiot runs an oil and gas company and decides they're no longer going to be drilling for oil and gas? I mean, it's completely nonsensical, isn't it? It's like having, I don't know, a sweet shop that doesn't sell any sweets.
Yeah, I mean, BP have been on this sort of, we're actually very, very green kind of trip for many, many years. And it's almost like the people leading the companies are too tied up in the sort of the modern zeitgeist, if you like, rather than actually doing what they're meant to do and focus on making money. And BP's expertise, let's face it, is in drilling for oil and making oil products. It's not in building wind farms. And, you know, to the extent that they have got involved in renewables, it's been a disaster. Well, I must say, I thought they were going to be trying to back out of all the greenery. Right. So this is news to me that they are going to be pursuing the greenery even further. Maybe that's just PR spin. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're apparently ramping up investment into green energy, is what it says. And one of their former chiefs, you might remember him rather interestingly called Bernard Looney. Basically, he said that he wanted to make BP net zero by 2050. I mean, you should see the state of their share price, right? Back in April of 2024, it was up over sort of 520 pence, and now it's actually fallen in December down to less than 400.
Yeah, I mean, if I was an institutional investor in BP, I would be trying to get the current management team out if this is the way that they're thinking. This is not a good way to make money. And, you know, if your pension was invested in BP, you would be wanting it out pretty quick too.
Absolutely.
It's going to lose you money, I'm quite sure. You know, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but this, you know, the wider picture for the UK, Mike, these jobs going is going to be really bad news because, you know, those people, you know, I don't know how many of them are going to be in the UK, but presumably quite a lot of them. And that is a whole lot of people who are not going to be paying tax into the exchequer anymore. I mean, it's you know, this is very, very bad news. Ed Miliband has been, you know, he's not only attacking sources of government revenue like the North Sea, and, you know, he's wrecking that, but he's also blowing the money he has got on mad schemes. I don't know whether you saw the thing a couple of days ago, £410 million for nuclear fusion, which is something that the private sector is already doing. I mean, why would you want the public sector doing something that the private sector is already doing? I mean, this is just throwing money away, basically. He's a crazy guy. Crazy guy.
Yeah, this guy's name is Mr. Auchincloss, who seems to be running the company into the ground. Its overseas ventures, I'm told, now lie mostly outside of Europe, including development of the Cascada oil field in the US Gulf of Mexico, which I presume will soon be renamed something else because it's now going to be in the US Gulf of America, according to Donald Trump, because he's changing it. But, of course, they don't seem to know what they're doing in the North Sea, because that's basically going to be shut down altogether. He says, I understand and recognise the uncertainty this brings for everyone whose job may be at risk, and also the effect it can have on colleagues and teams. We have a range of support available, and please continue to show care for each other. I mean, for heaven's sake, be considerate and keep putting safety first, especially during times of change. I mean, they've gone completely woke, haven't they?
That is absolutely the feeling, isn't it?
Show care for each other. I mean, talking to oil riggers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what planet is this guy on? I mean, I'd be interested to know actually what his background in. Has he been transferred in from, I don't know, Greenpeace or somewhere?
Well, I mean, you wouldn't be surprised, would you? This is the thing. I mean, this whole kind of nonsensical, greening of the economy, which has meant absolutely only one thing, and that is financial disaster for these companies.
Yeah, it's been a financial disaster for the companies. It's been a financial disaster for the countries on which it is inflicted. I mean, there's been nobody who has benefited from it, apart from, if you like, the green blob, the grifters who are sort of on the receiving end of all the subsidies. Yeah, they've done very well out of it, but it's been awful for taxpayers. It's been awful for consumers. Yeah, it needs to stop.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, I can't find out too much about him. He's apparently a Canadian business executive, and he's got a very high salary. He earned a BC degree in finance from the University of Calgary, qualified as a chartered financial analyst. So he should know what he's doing, but he doesn't seem to. That's the thing.
No, absolutely. It does. You wonder whether he's a friend of Justin Trudeau's, don't you?
Meanwhile, we've got the old Davos World Economic Forum summit coming up very shortly. No doubt there'll be more private jets flying into Davos, telling us that we shouldn't be flying anywhere. More ridiculous climate nonsense being pumped out to all and sundry, telling us all that we're all going to die a horrible death if we don't start using heat pumps.
Yeah, interesting. It'll be interesting to see whether the World Economic Forum and Davos is now so poisonous an idea that that maybe a lot of politicians won't want to go there anymore. I will be interested to see whether there are any Conservative MPs at it. I'm sure the Reform people won't go.
No.
And I imagine there'll be lots of Labour, but the Conservatives may be looking to distance themselves from that sort of globalist madness, if you like.
Yes. It might be a good idea. I can't imagine Kemi Badenoch would get any brownie points for going there. I don't think she should, to be honest. But good to talk to you, Andrew. Thanks very much indeed. Andrew Montford, the Director of Net Zero Watch.